Give me the music.
National math scores are slipping, but we're better than ever at division. No, something about this isn't adding up. Every day is a new battle.
Okay, we'll do it live.
Now they're out
As usual.
like
Oh, hey, everybody.
Hello.
They're high up on that horse we're down here flying.
Welcome to the Three Rural White Guys podcast. My name's Mike Heaton, here with Jacob Dodds and Kellen Gracie. We are three rural white guys drinking beer in our garage,
Hey, Jacob.
our now green garage.
Overcoming some. We'll figure this video streaming thing out.
Yeah, slowly.
And there's me.
Yeah.
Kellen.
We painted our garage walls with the intent of using them as green screens eventually, so we can go anywhere.
You know
Anywhere.
What's kind of funny about this is all the walls are the same color.
Mhm.
They're painted the same color, but on camera, because of the way the lighting is,
They do look different.
Yeah,
they look different.
Mine
is
looks
true.
Mine looks much darker than
yeah.
yours are more seafoam green.
Yeah.
And mine are like.
Oh, here,
farmers-
check this out. This fell
farmers
earlier.
market green.
The wall in this bar on this picture is the exact same color. I don't know if you can see that. Look at that.
Oh, look. It actually looks identical on
Yeah,
camera.
it didn't fall every time.
Yeah.
Duct
Check
tape.
that out.
Yo.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the White Guys podcast. Kellen Gracie is a political scientist. I need you guys to know that. He does know what he's talking about a little bit. He's a PhD in this shit, American politics. Jacob Dodds is an expert in rural healthcare. When I say expert, that's an understatement. And I'm not going to go into what he does for a living because he might get in trouble if I do. But he's a damn good expert, especially in emergency management services. I'm the least of the three here, and I have a master's degree in nonprofit management and have been in the nonprofit management world and fundraising world for over 20 years. And we all have different experiences living in rural as well as cities. And I think we act as a bridge in many ways between the two. And we're trying to sort of create a space where we can actually be progressive men in a rural community, for those of you who are new to us, and be okay with that. And I think we're seeing that more and more. We have progressive men across the country living in rural spaces. They're like, what the fuck? You hear that in our opening song by Chris Hausman. Thank you, Chris. Because what's going on right now, the things that people are saying, the things that our state representatives and our elected officials in Congress are saying, we know in our hearts are batshit crazy, whether or not we're rural or we're from the urban areas of our country. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. That's our little brief introduction for those of you who haven't seen us before. And we're going to start right off with, did you guys, I want to get on a plane ticket right now. It is happening. The place to be. Did you see this? I saw it on Fox News. Place to be is Washington, D.C., the state. What is it? The U.S. State Fair. What are they even calling this thing?
Toronto. It's Toronto. The place to be tonight is Toronto, Mike.
Toronto.
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Happy
hold on.
Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day, Kellen Gracie.
Got my jersey on. You know, you can't see this, but I actually have one gold maple leaf on the bottom embroidered on this jersey for every gold medal in hockey that the country has ever won.
So how many you got?
You got,
One?
It takes a while. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12
Cool.
goals. Yeah.
He's also drinking his Molson Ice over there.
No, sadly,
It's not. I thought
no,
that's what it was.
No, I try. I'm back to the
doing?
Natty Ice tonight because $7.50 for a 6-pack of tall boys at Fast Break down the road. But no Molson, no Labatt's, no Moosehead, none
I'm
of the
surprised.
above.
I'm surprised.
In our gas stations here in rural Iowa. Sadly,
I think for the rest of the year, we need to have two $50 drinks,
Yeah.
period. It has to cost $2.50 no matter what.
Just a little side note. So I don't know. We're actually having this debate. A group of friends and I were the other night, but Busch Light, which is very much a Midwestern thing.
also known as Bush Latte.
Yes. They
And
have
stomach acid.
They have a special
Big name
edition
for it.
out right now. The box has like the American flag on it. It has like a farmscape, and the can is it's actually really fucking cool.
What is
Yeah?
on your shirt today, Jacob?
I mean, that's pretty much our tagline, isn't it?
There it is. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. And
There it
tells-
is. Gone.
One day soon, I think we'll build like set pieces.
That'd be
I'm really
good.
excited about
Yeah,
that.
we'll get there. We got the walls painted. I'm happy about that. That's a start.
Yep.
But anyway, I'm not even going to be here very much longer because I'm going to go to the National State Fair. Is that what it's called?
The place to be after you're done at Toronto today.
Yes.
Head to DC. It's called the Great American.
The Great American. I was so excited to go. I couldn't remember the name of it.
In one of the few places in America that you can go to that actually is not in a U.S. state, we are having the Great American State Fair.
And you know why I'm so excited, guys? I'm so excited is because every time I turn on Fox News, I am told just how incredibly, amazingly packed it is with people to the point that I, as a real American, will be very comfortable because there's plenty of room. There's no one within a good 50 feet in any direction.
It's like COVID.
If you're walking around.
And it has, according to our president, record attendance.
Cool, because it never had a Great American State Fair before.
For no event to compare it to, but yeah, record attendance.
Yes, 100%. Do we have any clips of the American State Fair, Kellen?
Yes, but actually, before we get there, though, we kind of wanted to tee this up.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Because part of this is more around the broader topic or context of this being basically the worst week, maybe the worst month of certainly Trump's second term, but maybe his first and second term, just in terms of how embarrassing, how reckless, how pathetic it's been. We go back to the vandalism of the reflecting pool. Although he did say something about this 300. Did you see this 350-foot gash with a knife? I don't know how that happened.
And the material that he said you couldn't cut with a knife,
right? Because it wasn't a pool liner, which you could cut with a knife, but it was a adhesive paint of some sort.
Did he confuse the drain that runs?
That's where I was going with that, right? So like there is a 350-foot drain that runs the full length of the reflecting pool, but I've also seen some clever people on social media refer to the fact that he drove a motorcade over top of it after it was done being painted. I don't know if that has any effect on
the actual
on what's going on there, but yeah, it certainly wasn't like a pool liner in the classic sense of like a material that you could, I don't know, fold, bend.
It appears
that's
to
pliable.
me. It appears to me that it's basically it looks like almost like garage, like what you'd have, like the epoxy that you'd put on the floor of a garage, or what you'd line like a pickup truck bed with.
Okay,
that's what it looks like to me.
And that doesn't feel like something that you could really cut with a knife.
But we talked about this last week. So it started with this. This is like the beginning.
So
was this.
yeah, that's the context. Right. There's that, the algae and all of that fun stuff. Right. Then you have this super embarrassing state fair that Fox News, everybody who's a member of the cabinet are all trying to pretend that it's super successful. Tens of thousands of people are there. No one's there.
Do you want to do context on that and how the state fair came about? The Great American State Fair came about at all?
The money laundering scheme?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. There was a bipartisan, good-natured effort about 10 years ago, a piece of legislation that was passed that was funded by Congress called America 250, and that was supposed to be what we were seeing in this time frame right now on the mall. Instead, Donald Trump whipped up some of his buddies, some of his allies, his donors, and created the Freedom 250 just to confuse the shit out of everybody. And this is how you ended up with all those musicians, if you remember a couple of weeks ago, that were pulling out of this because they said, well, we were told that this is not a partisan political thing and this is just a celebration of America and this is America 250, but it was really the Freedom 250 organization that had taken over. And so they said, fuck all that, right? And that's when you started seeing everybody drop out because they're basically lied to.
Except for like what?
Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
Which he didn't even perform because of severe weather.
Yeah.
Is that the 20% chance of rain thing they had?
Yeah. Yeah. And now there was a deep dive by Public Citizen. We posted about this yesterday, 2 days ago on our social feeds. There's a deep dive on the finances behind this organization, behind the people involved with it. And basically, if you go to the Great American State Fair and you go up to the Arc de Triomphe and you go up to all the state exhibits, it's like sheets of paper they printed out, stapled
cardboard
onto the fucking the side of plywood, and like it is so pathetic.
Do you guys have History Day in other states? You grew up in Iowa, you grew up in Canada and everywhere else, Florida, other places. Like, do you have a thing called History Day?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did History Day, and it was all these junior high kids basically, and they put together, or younger even, they put together these booths you go around to that had history exhibits on them, right? And they'd have these cardboard or what do you call that board you can has like
foam
board kind of thing, foam display
board, yeah.
And then you would either make an image or you'd print something off and you'd stick it on there, kind of thing, that kind of deal. That's what all these things look like.
Yeah.
This is our 250th anniversary, and it looks like a junior high, in the junior high state fair booth, not state fair, it's History Day booth. Like you're walking around each state.
Like a science fair.
Yeah.
Like a middle school science fair. And that's what everyone's wondering. Where the hell did those dollars go? Where did all that money go?
And just a quick recap on the epic failures. So they've lost power multiple times.
Right.
People have complained that the food is terrible and it's overpriced.
$21 Bud Lights.
Yeah. Bud Lights are $21?
I think that's what I saw. And then like a $23 turkey leg.
It's present at $47 in honor of Donald Trump.
Maybe it was $12.
Vanilla Ice canceled, which he was the backup to Milli Vanilli.
That says something.
Yeah.
Wait, how does that work? They just play the music and well, you guys might not be old enough to remember Milli Vanilli.
Famous lip sync,
but
famous lip syncing controversy.
Thank you. I'm glad you know that, Kellen. That makes me happy.
That's how they're famous.
Yeah, exactly.
It's because they got lip sync.
They faked it. Yeah, it was beautiful. Milli Vanilli was the headliner for that one.
Good Lord. Originally they were one of the original artists that were going to play.
So who put this freaking lineup together? That's the other question. Well, like bunch of Gen Xers.
So originally, like Kellen said, it was the Smithsonian that originally was charged with planning this,
and it was going to be awesome. I'm sure.
Yeah, there's some big names that pulled out. That's true. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it would have been.
Well, wasn't it like a nationwide thing too? They were going to have events all over the country, and it led up to this big event in DC.
Well, I think that's what it's funny. I think I said this to you guys in a chat the other day. It's hilarious to me that it's just another thing that Trump that just turned to absolute fucking shit, right? And it's funny because of that, because it's just like it's just proving what we've been saying for years, that the guy's a moron.
Well, hold on. It's proving what we're saying for years. The guy's a grifter.
He's a grifter.
It's shit because he took all the money and put it in somebody else's pocket.
Right.
So I mean, let's be clear about what really happened here, right?
But at the same time, like we got robbed.
Yeah.
Like this was a truly a chance for like a one in a lifetime thing that this should have been a really, really big deal. And he robbed us of that.
Yeah.
Yes. That is the best way to put it. He also, and while we're on the way where we were going with this is like the worst week / month. We have the back and forth negotiations. We're at war. We're not at war.
Wait, are we at war again?
On, we're off.
Is it straight open or closed now?
We went back to war Friday night after the markets closed.
Of course.
And then bombed back and forth a few times over the weekend. And then Sunday, literally 30 minutes before the futures market opened on commodities trading. So when oil trade started going, the U.S. senior U.S. officials announced that Iran had requested a halt to the strike so that they could return to the negotiation table on Monday. Iran says, we have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Monday came and went, no negotiations. So they said, actually, it's Tuesday. And Iran's like, still have no idea what you're talking about. Tuesday came and went.
Does Trump not know there's the internet now? Like we can actually hear from Iran and instantaneous like communication.
He is still living in the 80s.
I think he is.
Yeah.
I think he's very clearly thinks that he can control like the distribution of information.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's that. There's a Great American State Fair. There's also this little bit, maybe we'll get to it later, maybe we won't, where Trump was talking about a threesome with his sons. I don't know. Did you guys see that? I don't really know. So it's been a week.
And you're not even wrong. It happened. It literally happened today, wasn't it? Like
that happened.
Dakotas or Idaho or something?
Bismarck, North Dakota.
Yeah.
At the Teddy Roosevelt Presidential Library.
Which I'm legitimately excited about, by the way. Like, Teddy Roosevelt's like a hero of mine. Like, his whole presidency is freaking fantastic.
So Carrie from Mount Pleasant just texted me and said also in that same speech, he talked about how he had just spoken with President Teddy Roosevelt about the Panama Canal.
Did he really?
Oh, yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. No, hold on. I forgot about that part. He had a conversation with an AI avatar in the museum. Like it was a real person.
And did he mention that part before he said he spoke with Teddy Roosevelt?
I don't know. I don't watch Trump speeches, Mike.
Who died in 1919? Curious.
I don't know. Someone maybe can find that. Send it in. I stay clear. I steer clear from any and all Trump public appearances.
Yeah,
just my mental health is much better for that. So anyway, most embarrassing, pathetic week, maybe month for a presidency. Certainly in Trump's 2 terms, maybe ever.
That's saying something for Trump.
That really is saying something. But really, where we wanted to go with this was the fact that. You still have the state regime media people out there. You have the pundits. You have the cult members in the comment section. You have the elected members of Congress who are out there swearing up and down, left and right, that this has been the greatest presidency ever. Trump's the greatest president ever. The Great American State Fair is the most awesome event ever. On and on and on and on.
Because they're racist.
They've leveraged so much resources. I really want to know what the price tag on this thing is and where these dollars went. They've leveraged so many resources to promote the shit out of the Great American State Fair. It's like every third post you see on Facebook and other social media sites lately. It's like the Department of Interior, the Department of Labor, the USDA. Everybody's hyping up the Great American State Fair, and it's just absolute. No one wants to go. There's nothing there. There's nothing there to see. There's a rickety Ferris wheel that's only working half the time. Power's going in and out. There's a guy in an Uncle Sam suit jerking off in the corner.
This is true.
Quite
no,
literally.
Hold on. That's literally true.
We got to come back to that.
You not know about this?
About that.
I was just gonna do a drive-by
That's
there.
a real thing.
But on day one.
Twice. They caught him the second time, I might add. He did it twice.
Giving himself a Yankee Doodle hand over in the corner.
There's like some acrobats or something going on, and he goes over and does it once.
It's real, man.
Then he leaves and he comes back again, and they get him.
My
the
God.
National Park Service gets him.
And this isn't just like a rando with a red hat on. This is like a known MAGA influencer, like with a social media follower.
Like he was paid to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They invited him, like specially.
Just going to town in his costume.
I wonder if he was at that ridiculous White House event at the start of Trump's second term where they were handing out the Epstein folder, the binder. And they were like,
was he at that one ridiculous White House event that on January 6, 2021?
Good question, Mike. In his Uncle Sam costume, highly likely.
It's possible. I think I saw like highly 5 people like that night. And they were, never mind.
He could have been doing it then too.
He could have.
Who knows?
He could have been shooting.
Well, the crowd was much bigger then, right? So he was easier to get lost in the crowd. Yeah. It was harder for the police. But here, you can't jerk off in the corner at the Great American State Fair because nobody is there.
Yeah.
So you'll be seen, which he was twice.
Yeah. He was distributing free literature.
A whole movement was conceived that day.
Jesus. The underlying point, though, I want to get at is how ridiculous some of these elected, some of these pundits, some of these talking heads are. And we have a great example of this. Our hometown hero, Marianne.
Well, hold on. I mean, our congresswoman who doesn't even live in our district.
Oh, I forgot. She's definitely not a hometown hero.
She lives in Ottumwa, Iowa, which is not in our district. And she represents us for some reason.
Why do they all do this? There's another one running in Iowa for, I think it's District 2, who moved there like last week.
Joe Mitchell?
Yep, that's him. He used to live here.
He did.
And then the guy who's running for governor lives in fucking Kansas.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You can't have any history. If you have a local history, no one's going to vote for you.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Everybody's going to know who the hell you are. And I'm like, hell no.
Yeah, but I wanted to show this.
We're here on the Mall in Washington, D.C. at the 250th celebration of our nation and the Great American State Fair. We're outside the Iowa
History
booth,
Day, junior high exhibit.
In the back of us. And I just want you to look around. Every state has a booth that will talk about their state, all the great things that you can see.
North Carolina has a Confederate flag.
There's like 12 states who opted out.
So we may take a ride on that later, but let's go in the Iowa booth.
I guarantee you there's no line for that Ferris wheel.
State Fair exhibit. As
those are all her staffers walking out.
You can get your passport stamp.
They all know she was coming in.
Of course, it has a photograph of the butter cow, and if you're in Washington,
photograph.
Don't forget to go to the Smithsonian exhibit of state fairs, and the butter cow replica is there. As you can see, it talks about the important things in Iowa. Iowa's famous people over on this wall, and then all of the great things in Iowa that we see in our topography. So The Great American State Fair down at the mall. Be sure to come by and check it out.
Did she say topography?
Because we know the best state fair in the country is Iowa's State Fair. Hello,
Representative. Bring it on, fucking Minnesota.
Those dudes sitting back there just trying to, because it's air conditioned in there. You know, that's why they're sitting in there.
That's exactly
They're like, they're looking at her like, who's this fucking troll?
Why do I have to get out of the way? Oh my gosh.
Just
wait, that was all it was? She went through like half of a room and it was like 6 poster boards.
Well, to your point, Mike, like middle school science fairs.
That's what it looked like.
Better organized and in better shape than this.
That cost $500 right there. You could build that for $500 times 50 minus 12 because 12 didn't participate.
The state of Maine,
there's our budget.
Was 1 room, 2 chairs.
They have like lobsters or something in there.
Like lobsters on the facts about lobsters on the wall.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
Then there were like 12 states who just said no. We're not doing.
Was it North Carolina or South Carolina decided not to participate?
No.
So some private entity came in and did it instead and put a Confederate flag on the fucking
North
walls?
Carolina.
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
North Carolina put a Confederate flag up. Mount Olive Pickle Company pulled out of that. Who's from North Carolina? They were like, well, at first we were on board and supporting and sponsoring, but the Confederate flag is too much.
They're not. It was never. The Confederate flag was never part of their history. They didn't.
Literally, the rebellious faction who tried to overthrow the United States government.
And they never had. I mean, they were part of the Confederacy for a short period of time, but like that was never like what is it, Mississippi? That was built in, and Georgia. It was built into their flag, right? For a long time. That wasn't the case with South Carolina.
I think it would have been much more interesting to have an exhibit on how the Confederacy got absolutely decimated by the Union and had like a whole walkthrough of that. That would be kind of
especially in South Carolina.
Yes. That would have been kind of cool.
You mean like Sherman burning all the cities?
Yes.
Yep.
All of them down.
Yes.
From all the way to the ocean.
All the way. I know that's not funny for a lot of people, but like,
I never get tired of Sherman burning cities memes. I never get tired of those.
And I'll fucking do it again too.
Dude, clearly, I did not burn enough. Anyway, worst week, worst month, potentially. I don't know.
Well, give it time.
Give it time. There's always more time.
There's still, there's still vendors there that probably won't get paid. So
we haven't
heard about that yet.
The week's still. It's only Wednesday.
It is.
Good Lord.
And as he continues to sundown and his mental decline continues, this kind of shit's only going to get worse.
Well, speaking of dying, let's also talk about being born.
Oh.
So speaking of worst weeks for Trump, one of his key things he promised as one of his big campaign things, especially once he took office, was to end birthright citizenship. And among other things, he had a lot of promises that he hasn't kept, and some he did keep, unfortunately. This is a big week in the Supreme Court, a huge week. And so there was some good things in Trump's mind that happened. There's also some very bad things in Trump's mind in MAGA world that happened this week.
It really was a mixed bag. If you are pro-democracy, you believe in equal rights, liberty, freedom, those sorts of things. Mm-hmm. It was kind of a mixed bag of a Supreme Court session.
Right.
But I think some of the really, really, really important ones, two that come to mind immediately, are the Supreme Court slapped down Trump in terms of mail-in voting. And they said states that allow votes to be counted even if they're received after Election Day, as long as they were postmarked on or before Election Day, they can continue to do that. So he tried to sue to prevent mail-in votes that are received after Election Day from being counted. Supreme Court slapped him down on that. And the other big one was
which by the way, that's huge.
Yeah, it is huge.
Because he's in charge of the Postal Service.
Yeah.
And had he won that, people could have submitted their ballots in time. He could have done everything he could to gum up the Postal Service, which he already has, by the way.
He did, and that was a problem in 2020.
Right.
And even with COVID going on, he had put in an entirely incompetent Postmaster General. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you remember this, but back a few years ago, the mail was so bad. The U.S. Postal Service was so bad.
And that's intentional, everybody. And you all remember last week or 2 weeks ago when the California elections were happening, and he did this huge push, and all the MAGA folks and all the pundits were saying how California is committing voter fraud because they were counting ballots long after Election Day, because in their state they're very clear on how they do it, and it takes almost a week to count ballots because if they're postmarked by that date, and they're still coming in, which California's a big fucking state. It takes a long time for mail to get some places.
Yep.
They're going to keep counting them, right?
Yep.
And also international mail, shit like that too, because you have military personnel, things overseas. If it's postmarked, they're going to count it, and damn it, they're going to count it because we're fucking American and your vote counts.
Right.
Period. Right.
Yep.
So they're making this big play last week about how that's fraud. And that was all based on Trump assuming that this decision would go his way because he thinks he stacked the court.
Right.
And so he was he set it all up perfectly for himself. And then thinking that, oh yeah, they're going to strike it down now. And nope, he got his ass kicked on that one.
So embarrassing for him on that front. Also embarrassing for him, side note, there was another court that said that the Department of Justice has to release the other like 3 or 4 million Epstein documents before tomorrow, Thursday, January.
Get their shit together. 2nd. I'm not sure about fully release, but get their shit together. It wasn't
they have to
perfectly clear, like give it all out, but
they have to do 2 things.
What do they got?
They have to either release the memo, so by law, they either have to release a document or provide a justification for why they aren't releasing it. So the court said you have to do that for every single of these 3 to 4 million documents that are outstanding, either release them or provide a memo or a justification why you aren't releasing them by Thursday, which is tomorrow.
And just so you all know, a lot of those are in different languages because this is a big international thing that happened. And they, they just don't know what the fuck to do.
Well, they've had plenty of time to figure out all of this. And I don't
throw it through Chat GPT, baby. It'll translate it in half a second.
There is zero excuse at this point for them to not have either the document ready or a reason why they
their excuses are going to lose their job because it's going to incriminate people pretty quickly.
That's really what it comes down to is there's a reason why the Epstein files have yet to turn into the Epstein trials.
Right.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
another big one. I got another one for you. We didn't talk about earlier today.
Okay.
Well, the courts came down and ruling on Eugene Carroll.
Oh yeah,
King Carroll. Eugene Carroll.
Yeah,
Carroll.
Eugene
Yeah.
Carroll.
So you may all know there's been $5.5 million put aside. Was it last June into a special account that Trump
was just the first lawsuit. Her second one was like 83 million or something.
But there's still 5 million. Of course, Trump is, I'm going to fight this to the very top of the thing and do that, right? Well, he fought it all the way to the top.
And he lost.
And he lost, right? And he's saying
he didn't even get the chance to fight it. They refused to hear it.
Yeah.
Right. They said done deal. Right.
And all you need, if you're not familiar with how the Supreme Court works, all you need are 4 justices to agree to hear the case. You don't need a majority. You need 4.
Yeah.
And it's a 6-3 conservative court. Yeah. So there weren't 4 conservative.
How many did he appoint?
3.
3 of them.
3 of them.
Right. So he needs Alito or Roberts to go with him.
Thomas does whatever he wants.
Yeah, seriously.
Alito does whatever he wants. So you had those 2.
Yeah.
So Barrett, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, those are the 3 he appointed, and he definitely didn't get Roberts. So he didn't get. I don't think he got any of them.
Right, because it's so clear cut.
Right.
So what does he say though immediately after the decision? He says, "Well, I'm going to continue to fight this." Where? It's over, buddy. You got there. You hit the top.
Yeah, where are you going?
Nowhere else you go on this one.
In his brain.
Yeah, and if he had the money, he could like not give it to her, but he doesn't. It's in a special account. Like
he's going to fight it in talking to an avatar of President Teddy Roosevelt and Bismarck's. That's where he's going to fight it.
What a dumb. He doesn't even know how the fucking system works if he's saying that shit. That's just absolute bullshit. He's an idiot. He's an idiot.
Yeah. The other one, birthright citizenship.
Yeah, that's a biggie.
So this was a key campaign promise of Donald Trump's. Among other things, he was going to overturn or ban birthright citizenship. This actually got me really worked up after Election Day because I am a person who benefited from birthright citizenship. A lot of people benefit from birthright citizenship. It's something that's in the Constitution. It's embodied right there, the 14th Amendment. Just as solidly a part of the Constitution as any of the other amendments, including the 2nd, the 1st, whatever. And I got really worked up about this. I was really concerned about this. And I really didn't know where the Supreme Court would land precisely because he had 3 appointees. You have Thomas, you have Alito. They're gone. It
seems really clear cut like it shouldn't be a thing, but
it is clear cut.
They took it up.
Right.
They asked for it to be given to them to debate, which was really sketchy.
But it was sketchy at the same time. But that had me concerned. But at the same time, this is how the Supreme Court works, and they bring things up because they want to make a stand on it. And this was a 6-3 decision. So in a 6-3 conservative court, they had multiple conservatives join the 3 liberal justices and uphold it. And to me, that means they wanted to make this ruling. They wanted to take it up so that they could slap this down and say, no, this is final. If you want to change birthright citizenship, you need to amend the Constitution, because the Constitution says it's there, right there in the 14th Amendment. So I wonder if that was the thinking of some of these conservative justices who said, yeah, let's take this up. Let's do this.
So this isn't my thought. I'm curious on, Jacob, I'm curious on your opinion on this, because I know you like to talk political strategy sometimes and why people pull shit like this. I heard of this on, I think it was a Pod Save America and a different podcast in that crooked media world, where they think that maybe Roberts did this on purpose because he tries to be politically savvy. And in this case, they have done so much shit that is completely against what anyone would consider constitutionally appropriate, giving out all kinds of freebies to corporations and passing judgments that just would be unheard of even 5 years ago, let alone, 10, 15, 20 years ago. But people were thinking this is done right before the 4th of July. It's a big one. They pulled it up right before everyone's getting together with their families in order to cover for all the other shit they're doing by saying, "Oh, they're not beholden to Trump. They're not beholden to corporations. Look, they just said, Trump, fuck you. Birthright citizenship is not going anywhere." What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's probably an overanalysis.
Okay, I'm wondering about that.
I really think it can't. I think that if you want my honest opinion about it, I think it's probably honestly. I think every profession, to a certain degree, has a point where, when it comes to executing the duties of their job, they sometimes look at the downstream effect of, is this going to create more work for us?
Sure.
I mean, let's look at this from like a 30,000 foot view. If they had said, yeah, we're going to support birthright citizenship is no longer a thing. That has more significant consequences than just not allowing automatic citizenship anymore.
Right. And
you start running into members of this administration being called into question whether or not they're eligible to hold office.
Right. And
Marco Rubio, as an example.
Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ted Cruz, born in Canada. So your argument there is basically this is going to cause too much paperwork, too much headaches.
It would cause years of judicial. It would clog up the judicial system with people making appeals, and it would fuck up elections. It would fuck up hiring practices.
So I think you're partly right, Jacob, and I think the other part that kind of plugs into that and sort of supports what you're saying there is just the simple fact that immigration courts in general right now are so overworked and understaffed, and that's a huge part of the problem. Is the Trump administration has refused to move in a way that brings in a bunch of immigration judges and allows that sort of clog up, that buildup of immigration cases to really relieve themselves. So if you had another issue like this all of a sudden on the table for those immigration courts to deal with, that makes the problem exponentially worse.
They're just lazy. They don't want to deal with all the shit that's going to come out of it. But I can see that. That's a perfectly legit thing.
But I think that's part of the story, at least as far as Roberts, because you specifically mentioned Justice Roberts, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's only part of the story because, as much as I don't like him, John Roberts, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, as much as I don't like him, I do believe that he is an institutionalist. And what I mean by that is he is somebody who cares about how people think of the Supreme Court.
Right.
He cares about the public polling around the Supreme Court and the fact that it is in the shitter and nobody thinks anything of the Supreme Court.
With one exception. If it's going to benefit corporations, he's with it. every time, no questions asked. He takes it up from Citizens United to the month. You're going to go there? Go ahead.
Well, no, I wasn't going to go there. I was just going to call that out as
that's
evidence
the only
to what you're saying. Yeah,
the only piece.
But I do think that he cares about how people view the Supreme Court, and I do think he cares about his legacy. And I think I think there's a little bit of a selfishness going on there for John Roberts as well, in the sense that he says this thing is so cut and dry because it is literally an amendment in the Constitution. So if I'm going to allow this to, if I'm going to overturn an amendment, but you can't. The Supreme Court can't do that. So I think from the institutionalist perspective, he's saying our job here is to interpret the Constitution, not write the Constitution, not rewrite the Constitution. We can reinterpret pieces of it. We can reinterpret pieces of law. We can talk about how things today are viewed in a different lens because of modern technology and culture and society and all those things that happen and change over time. But ultimately, I think he's saying the Supreme Court, the role it plays in American society, in American government, is not to rewrite the Constitution. Right. And in this case, you have to get rid of the 14th Amendment if you want to get rid of birthright citizenship, because it's so cut and dry right there in the 14th Amendment.
Yeah. I want to come back to the judge stuff, the Supreme Court stuff here in a second. I want to talk about one more ruling that happened because it relates to our episode last week a lot. We talked about temporary protected status, and I just want to make note of this because I got really riled up about this last week. It's something I've been involved in with a lot with immigration services. I've worked in that world.
Don't you know temporary means temporary, Mike?
And honestly, they're not wrong.
No, of course they're not wrong.
Biden was able to let 600,000 people in because we needed them, and he has the right to say goodbye to them as well because it was a congressional thing, but it's horrible. And so he started doing this, as we know, as I talked about last week, where he started targeting TPS status immigrants and just flat out just removing their temporary status without any notice, like just flat up, you're done, right? And would meet these people at courthouses that while they're working with judges to try to figure out how to stay in the country, talking about people who have no place to go at all because they can't go home because they're here for a reason. TPS means like they're seeking refuge because of poverty, because of war, because of all kinds of things, right? So all that stuff has happened, and it happened. 600,000 people. Biden brought them in during that time because we needed 600,000 workers because our economy was about to collapse because of COVID. We talked about all that last week. Trump just got approval from the Supreme Court to move forward. All A-okay, keep going. You're okay. I got temporary halted where he could do this, where he could just blatantly just flat out say, you're done. I'm going to remove your TPS status. Now he can. And as of that ruling, all of Trump's decisions are now real. And you have roughly 500,000 people left in the United States with TPS right now that are freaking the fuck out. These are people with kids in school, with jobs, that have had a document that said they could be here legally.
Yep.
Human beings, people, parents with kids.
And it's suddenly null and void.
Null and void.
Not allowed to be here anymore.
All because Stephen Miller's a fucking racist. You understand this, right? That's all it is. We need the people here working. They're not taking anybody's jobs.
Stephen Miller. Oh, Pee Wee German.
I'm sorry. Pee Wee German's a fucking racist, right?
Sorry, it took me a second.
And I'm using that to set up something. So he's a horrible, horrible person. That's why they're doing. They're not going after Swedish people. They're not going after Norwegian people. They're going after people of color.
Right.
And TPS status, and that's exactly who they're removing it from. And it's happening now, and you're going to see a ramp up again of ICE raids. And we're already starting to see it as of a couple of days ago, and it's only going to continue on through the election because it's politically beneficial to rile up the base to get them out to vote. So I'm going to say that now, but I'm going to transition back now to Pee Wee German, because going back to birthright citizenship, our buddy Pee Wee had a lot to say about the fact that he's not done with this.
No.
So MAGA in general, this isn't about whether or not it's okay to get citizenship by, anchor baby kind of stuff, right? This is racism. This is white supremacy. And they made their position incredibly clear in their responses to the birthright citizen stuff. And I think, Kellen, you have some thoughts on this as well as some articles or some videos.
Well, all I want to point out is some of these folks getting sent back immediately.
Oh, sure. Go back to that first. Yeah.
Are more than 100 of them, Venezuelans, were shipped out a couple days ago. And sent to a hotel in Venezuela called, tragically, Hotel Sanctuary, where they were when the earthquakes in Venezuela happened. And all of them died. All of them died. They were here, then they weren't, and now they're dead. And, you can't blame the Trump administration for an earthquake, for an act of God. I mean, I've seen some people go down this rabbit hole around like all the extra drilling going on in Venezuela because of the ramp up of the oil industry and whatnot. I don't know how much legitimacy there is to that.
That's never that kind of size earthquake.
Yeah,
It's never been shown.
This was a gigantic earthquake. More than 2,000 dead, and 100+ of them are people who were under protected status in the U.S. and are now not.
Just a couple days ago, a week ago. Yeah, and it's only getting worse and worse, and you're going to see it more and more.
And there's empathy here, right? And that, I think, is the moral of the story here, is how much of this country has just lost touch with empathy. And these aren't criminal gangbangers. Like you said, these are people with jobs and families and kids
that were fleeing
poverty,
violence, and poverty.
And guess what? Maduro's regime is still in place.
Right.
Delcy Rodriguez, the current president of Venezuela, was the vice president of Venezuela until they captured Maduro and brought him in. The same guy who's interior minister, for lack of a better terms, Gestapo of the Venezuelan government, who was committing all the violence and rounding people up and doing all the atrocities in Venezuela that got people all upset about Maduro and said, we need to go do something about Venezuela. All those right-wingers who said, we got to go in and take him out. He's still there. He's still there. He's still the interior minister. He's still doing Gestapo shit.
Right.
And the Trump administration bends over backwards for whatever Delcy Rodriguez wants because they want that oil.
Right.
They want that military incursion to look like a win, and they will do whatever it takes. Machado, I forget her name. I think it's Machado, the opposition leader who should have become president. If the goal really was to remove the regime and put someone new in power, she would have been the person because she was the person who won the election. And Maduro took it away from her.
Right.
This is the same person who came to the White House and gave her Peace Prize to Donald Trump. Do you remember this?
Right.
She's not allowed back in Venezuela. Do you know why?
Why?
The Trump administration won't allow her.
Huh. So a couple things on that note, just so people are aware. Part of the reason, I'm not trying to be like the guy with all the yarn across the boards and stuff. This is real. This is a thing that happened. Everybody sort of knows this if you're paying attention, right? So Venezuela privatized, or they nationalized the oil industry, right?
Yeah.
I think we may have talked about this one point.
Yeah, we did a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Right. So they nationalized the oil industry, and this was after Exxon Valdez and a couple other big companies spent billions of dollars there building out infrastructure. And then it got naturalized. This is, by the way, the second time it's happened in like 2 decades. And so you think
Venezuela.
You think they would have got the memo the first time?
Maybe not
done it again. Yeah. And then they did it again. And then they nationalized it and basically said, get the fuck out. We're taking over your oil rigs, costing these companies, $15 billion, whatever it was. And so, of course, they took it to the courts. They took it to the national courts, the World Bank, and the World Bank, essentially, the courts there said, we're going to award you something like $14 billion or $10 billion that Venezuela has to pay you. And of course, Venezuela doesn't have fucking money right now. And so they decided not to. Now, even under the Biden administration, we started setting up sanctions against them. We did blockades against them, things like that. Under the Biden administration, even, Trump just ramped it up because all his buddies aren't getting paid. And that's what, if you really want to know what this is fucking all about, that's what it was all about. They need their money back. Exxon can't stay alive as a company if they have all their assets and all their loans taken out against assets. They aren't going to get repaid. So they're going to tank if they don't get that money back. They got their money back. They don't give a fuck what happens to Venezuela anymore.
Here's a question for you, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm reading this article in the Foreign Policy Journal while you're talking.
Yeah.
The UN's International Organization for Migration warned that up to 6.8 million people could require shelter, water, sanitation, healthcare, and other relief items as a result of the disaster. An analysis of satellite data estimated
this is in Venezuela?
Yeah. An analysis of satellite data estimated that 58,870 buildings were likely damaged or destroyed by the earthquakes. The Rampolla, who's Rampolla? The UN humanitarian coordinator in Venezuela confirmed that the UN had agreed with Venezuela's government to procure 10,000 body bags, expressing hope the final figure would fall short of that number, but they're not clear.
Okay.
So the question for you there, Mike, is we just took away their protected status, and we're shipping all these people back to that. Does the Trump administration reverse course here?
No, and here's how I know why.
Stephen
because Miller. Fuck Stephen Miller. He's a fucking. I hate Stephen. I mean, he's evil. There's no other place. He's Hitler in the United States. There's no other way to put it, right? I mean, I'm not even being I'm being kind by saying it that way. The guy's a horrible person.
Yeah, swamp creature.
Yeah. Another direction to go down that one. But here I'm. Okay, so I used to work for UNICEF.
Mm-hmm.
I don't talk about that a whole lot on the show, but I used to work for UNICEF. I did a lot of fundraising around international development work for UNICEF. The United States was the biggest contributor to UNICEF, period. That is child services. That is, they go into a natural disaster and help kids. They set up water. They set up clean water so kids don't get diarrhea because their entire infrastructure's failed. They do all kinds of shit when a disaster strikes, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest funders of UNICEF, one of the biggest funders of international development, period, used to be a department called USAID.
Mm-hmm. USAID.
USAID.
That's colloquial how people understand it.
Did you hear my tense that I use that in?
Used to be.
Used to be.
Yeah.
Helen and I went to CricetCon last year.
Yep. November.
Yep. And I got to sit and talking with a security guard and asking him, about his job. We were at the Reagan building in DC. And I was asking about, what do you like about your job? That kind of stuff. And he's like, well, there's ups and downs, but the worst day of my life was when USAID, got suddenly all fired. And they just closed the department pretty much. They just took all the funding away.
Not pretty much. They
did. Gone. Yeah. And he had to watch all his friends pack their boxes and walk out. This was truly the gem, the crowning achievement of U.S. foreign policy was USAID. USAID. It was where we did diplomacy. It's where we helped the world through just being good people. We spent billions of dollars every year being good to the world. And by doing that, we avoided wars. We avoided conflict. We helped, even under George W. Bush, we talked about this last week, some of the biggest funding appropriations in history went through USAID to Africa and stopped the AIDS endemic there. It was so critical to the world and to the health of the world, and it's just gone because of Doge and fucking Elon Musk not thinking it's important to the fucking world.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have this thing happening in Venezuela, and what's happening, what's not going to be there is USAID. USAID, period. We're not present. And we've cut funding to almost all these entities. And I'm sure if I look up how much they're giving to UNICEF, they basically stopped giving anything to the UN, and that's under the UN umbrella. I almost guarantee that the United States doesn't give shit to UNICEF anymore.
Yeah.
I need to look because I used to work for them. I should know that number. But holy shit.
It's tragic.
The amount of people that are dying right now because we're not involved in that is stupid.
And if I can put a cap on this whole thing right now. The Republican Party over the last, 20 years, basically since 9/11, they've hijacked all the symbolism of the United States, right? And as we're getting ready here for the 250th birthday of America coming up this weekend, one of those symbols is the Statue of Liberty.
Yep.
And obviously most people know that the plaque that Lady Liberty holds has July 4th, 1776 in Roman numerals on it. But what some people may not know is inside of it, there's a bronze plaque that says, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free."
Can you read the stuff before that? A lot of people don't read it all. Do you have it there?
I don't. No.
Can you pull it up? It's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it. The full plaque. Give me the full plaque.
This is the plaque on the statue.
So it's a poem called The New Colossus.
Mm-hmm. Read it slowly.
So here's the entirety. So the poem was actually written by Emma Lazarus. It was actually a fundraising thing to build the pedestal for the statue. So it says, "Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land, here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep ancient lands your storied pomp," cries she with silent lips. "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door."
I heard worldwide welcome and give me your wretched refuse.
That does not sound like our current immigration policy.
I also heard "fuck the pomp." Not quite in those words, but that's the part of that is like "fuck you, Donald Trump." If you really think about what it's saying, it's like the pomp and circumstance people that get into all that shit. Fuck all that. We'll take you.
I feel like we need to give the Statue of Liberty back to France.
No, I think it's time to fucking embrace her for who she really is.
And what it stands for.
Right.
Its purpose for existing.
Yeah.
But we did.
We didn't earn it. We're not earning it right now as a country.
We're not.
We're not earning it. We need to re-earn her. Is what I'm getting at. You're right. We need to give her back right now. But honestly, I think we just need to start living up to that promise.
Yeah.
That they saw in us when they gave us that.
Right.
Because that was real back then.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that long ago.
No.
Really, realistically.
Right.
250 years in terms of human history, in terms of the history of the planet Earth. Not a long time.
No.
Many generations, but not a long time.
Well, and the poem was written on November 2nd, 1883.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
A little more than 100 years ago. 140 years ago.
That's after the Civil War.
Right.
That was after the Civil War. Where we were going with this, I think also one to put a sort of final pin in this part, and then we can talk midterms real quick before we cut the episode for tonight. That was our last topic we want to talk about was the midterms. But one last thing I wanted to point out was the sort of mega backlash or the response from the right wing to the birthright citizenship decision by SCOTUS. I've seen any number of things. Influencers on social media calling for banning female pregnant women. I've seen people talking about forcing sterilization of women before they're foreign women.
Pee Wee German was bringing this up, wasn't he?
I saw an interview of Pee Wee German on Fox News with that.
And I feel bad. By the way, Germans are awesome. In 2026, there's a lot of great Germans out there. We're really referencing
probably
Nazis.
Shouldn't call them that.
Yeah,
we're referencing Nazis and
honestly, Pee Wee Herman, aside from one instance in a theater,
was okay.
Was pretty cool.
He was okay.
He entertained a lot of kids for a lot of years, and he wasn't like a pedophile.
For that one thing,
he just went to a show and did what the guy did in the Uncle Sam suit in front of acrobats.
He shouldn't have done that.
He shouldn't have done that, and that was inappropriate.
Was he in an Uncle Sam suit, Pee Wee Herman?
No, he was just at a theater watching a sexually explicit movie. I guess Who knows? I don't know. I think he got charged for that.
Either way,
and his career ended. But he's back. He's doing. He came back like 10 years ago. Started getting the movies and shit again. Good for him.
But then he died.
Did he die? Is he dead?
Yes.
Oh, fuck,
Paul
really?
Rubens is dead.
I didn't know that when he died.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Paul Rubens.
And while you guys are Googling that, my back to my point is...
Shit, yeah, he did in 2023.
The mega, freak out about this, right? So... all of them are pissed at Amy Coney Barrett, right? She's a conservative that conservatives love to hate these days. She definitely has made some really poor choices in her tenure as Supreme Court justice.
Let's just call it what it is.
Right
she literally overturned Roe versus Wade. She's the reason
after saying she wouldn't.
Right. So she made some horrible decisions over the years. Yeah.
And she's a massive hypocrite. But there are clearly some lines. Women's rights are not one of them. So her religious sect that she's part of, that everyone was worried about, absolutely came to fruition in Dobbs. But There are obviously some lines that she has. This was one of them. So I think she's in that basket with John Roberts, in terms of institutionalism, because this was one where you have to be a partisan hack to overturn birthright citizenship when it's literally an amendment in the Constitution, right? So anyway, the freak out I've seen from MAGA online ranges from, oh, I hate Amy Coney Barrett, to let's sterilize foreign women before they're allowed in the country, to banning foreign pregnant women from entering the country. I've seen all sorts of crazy shit. But there was one, well, not one. There's a bill.
This is not just some random psycho.
No, there's a bill. Congressman Andy Ogles.
Wait, is he from Oklahoma? Where's he from?
Shit. Why didn't
Arkansas?
I have that ready for you?
You should know. I'll look it up for you. I'll Google him.
Yeah,
Andy Ogles? He's an Ogle.
Ogles, Ogles. He's common. He's a firebrand. He's always in the news.
Mm-hmm.
But
Tennessee.
That's
District,
right.
Congressional district.
So you now have a piece of legislation heading through the House. Honestly, I don't know if it gets through the Senate. I don't think people like Rand Paul or Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski.
Not in election year.
I don't think they're going to vote for this. So I don't see it ending up on Trump's desk. But if Republicans rally around this, it could end up on Trump's desk. And then we fight about this. But it's literally a bill to ban pregnant women from entering the United States if they aren't citizens. So
wait, what?
Here, well, I'll let Andy Ogles explain it.
Breaking news, I don't know if you're paying attention, but the Supreme Court just had a horrible decision as it pertains to birthright citizenship. And I would even say really betrayed America when it comes to birthright citizenship. So I have a bill that's going to address it from the legislative perspective. Look, we are co-equal branches of government. Our founding fathers warned us against an all too powerful judiciary, and you see that playing out right now. So I have a bill. It'll be called Anchors Away, which, look, if you're not a U.S. citizen, if you're not a green card holder, and you have a child on U.S. soil, today that child would be a U.S. citizen. Under my bill, under my legislation, we fix that and go back to what our founders intended. So in short, what this bill does is if you are a pregnant woman, you can't come into this country. You've got to be a citizen, be here. You have to have a green card holder. So if you're pregnant and you don't have one of those statuses, no admittance allowed.
So he's right about one thing. That the three branches are co-equal branches of government. The thing he gets wrong is that one of those three branches of government just spoke and said, "You're full of shit. And if you want to do what you're trying to do in this bill, you would have to modify the Constitution."
Not just put a piece of legislation forward.
Right. He can put as much legislation as he wants. The House can pass it, the Senate can pass it, the president can sign it. The Supreme Court will knock that down too.
In a heartbeat. But that's the problem. Not a heartbeat, because this shit takes time, right?
True.
So could you see a situation where they pass this shit and then suddenly there's a weird period of time in American history where you think it'll be an injunction immediately?
There'll be an immediate injunction from a federal judge. Immediate injunction for it to work its way through.
But work with me for a moment. Didn't they just pass something more like injunctions only apply in a certain district where that person is does it apply to the whole country?
Extra credit for Mike.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Credit for Mike.
I learned something along the way.
Yes, there was a recent Supreme Court decision that limited the scope of federal injunctions.
So do we need 50 fucking cases to make this happen?
No, because this is a federal law, and the case that you're referring to, or the situation you're referring to, are situations in which a state has passed a law to, say, ban abortion.
Gotcha.
And a federal judge stands up and says, injunction on this across the entire United States. Or it's a narrowly specific law or requirement that a state or some other entity has passed or put into place or tried to do. And then a federal judge comes in and says, this is something that we can't do across the United States.
Gotcha.
See the difference?
Yep. That makes sense.
So this would be slightly different. I don't think it would be applicable there. But no, I don't think that's possible. I think as soon as this bill was signed by the president, if it ever went past, I don't think it would get past the Senate, but if it did, and the president signed it into law, I think a federal judge the next day would put an injunction on it, and boom, and then you would have a legal fight over it, and pregnant women throughout that time would be able to enter the United States.
So speaking of the Senate,
this is a great segue to our next.
Before you segue, I just want to make sure people are perfectly clear. It's not about the unborn child, people. If you didn't figure that out yet,
It's not.
It's not about the unborn child. If this isn't proof of that, it's all politics. They don't give a shit about an unborn child.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mike.
I just want to make sure everyone sees that before we move on.
The pro-life party.
This is the pro-life party saying we don't give a fuck about that baby who's undocumented coming into our just anchors away, baby, anchors away.
Anchors Away Act. Back to the Senate, Jacob.
We have a member of the Senate that has been missing in action.
Mr. Kane, right?
No, that's the House. That's the House.
Wait, is it Senate guy?
Keen was the Jersey House of Reps guy.
You're talking about our mummy in office. Our zombie.
Myrtle the turtle.
Myrtle the turtle.
Weekend at Mitch's. That's dark. Sorry, that's dark.
Is it though? I mean, it's been so long at this point. Do we care? They're clearly faking the fact that this guy's still alive. Is he still alive?
Well, so here's the background if you're not up to date. So on June 14th, on the morning of June 14th, paramedics, DC Fire and EMS paramedics were called to his residence in Washington, D.C.
This is 2.5 weeks ago.
Yep. They were dispatched for a cardiac arrest, which
means his heart stopped.
Which my experience in the field tells me that more than likely what happened was somebody called and reported that he was unconscious. The dispatcher asked if he was breathing. They probably said, I don't know, which that automatically codes it as a cardiac arrest. Whether it was actually a cardiac arrest, I don't know.
Thank you, Jacob, who is an expert in healthcare and emergency.
So don't read it. But either way, he was unconscious in his home.
Right.
He was transported to the hospital by ambulance and admitted. And the only things that have come from his office since that time is that, yes, he's admitted to the hospital. He's been receiving medical care, and that he is continuing to work with staff on issues in the Senate and issues related to Kentucky. No
2.5 weeks.
No confirmation on his condition. No confirmation on whether or not he's been discharged.
Is he up for election this year? He's not, right? It hasn't been 6 years since he had that gal run against him.
I believe when he announced he wasn't running to also be the majority leader, which brought John Thune in as the Senate majority leader, I think he also said he was not going to run for re-election anyway.
But I want to say that's 2028.
But I want to say he will hold on to his seat. I think you're right, Mike. I don't think there is an open Senate seat race in Kentucky this year. Yeah, no, there's not.
Because I remember there was actually like a pretty big public race just a couple years ago when they had that gal from
Amy McGrath.
Yeah, that's right.
The veteran who should have won.
Yeah,
in my opinion, that's right. So he definitely has a few years left on his term.
So here's why this is relevant. Not only do we not know where he is or what his condition is, and they're not being very forthcoming about it. But
wait, hold on. Sorry, Senate Republican Mitch McConnell's current and final term expires on January 3rd, 2027.
No way. So wait, I completely missed this race. Who is the Democratic challenger? They must have had their primary already.
I don't know.
Well, while Mike is looking that up,
I'll look
and we
go ahead. I'm sorry. Sorry. Go ahead.
I completely missed that. I didn't know Kentucky was up. Anyway, back to you, Jacob.
Well, regardless, so quietly this last week, the Kentucky legislature passed a law that states that if a sitting member of Congress dies in office, the governor must appoint the replacement appointment must be from the same party.
Tell me it's a Democrat in office as governor in Kentucky.
It is Andy Beshear, right?
No. You're misunderstanding. The replacement has to be
from the same party
of the sitting person that's replacing.
A lot of states have that law.
So a Democrat can't replace him with a
kind
Democrat.
of makes sense.
Yeah, kind of. Sure.
You don't want to. It keeps you from killing people off too. I'm assuming. Just saying. That's happened in American history.
Where do you come up with this?
Abe Lincoln, dude. Like there's a lot of assassinations in American history of Congress people as well, I might add, that people don't talk about very often.
Yeah, that fly under the radar.
Including here in Mount Pleasant where we had our mayor murdered. So I'm just saying, like, it happens.
Does that really matter though? Because here's the thing. What's to prevent somebody that is going to be that replacement saying, I'm a Republican.
Oh, now you're getting into like some House of Cards shit here, right? So a Democrat is like switching their party affiliation. They're like, I'm a Republican. I'm a moderate Republican.
So the governor can just appoint the moderate suddenly.
I mean, that's my understanding of how the rule's fucking written. So
yeah, why not?
It's not like they have to go back and do some purity test.
Yeah, there's no ideology test.
They just have to be registered as a Republican. Actually, that's actually pretty fun.
Well, I wonder though if it's something like you have to be registered for Republican for a certain amount of time. I don't know. I'm like spitballing here, but I'm sure there are Democrats who have been registered in the state of Kentucky somewhere that have been registered as Democrats long enough or registered as a Republican, but they're really a Democrat long enough because they wanted to vote in a primary or something for like a couple cycles ago, but they're really a Democrat that Andy Beshear could go find.
Right.
Hey, just sit in this chair for a few months until we figure this out, right?
But I think the interesting thing about that is I mean, this is really sort of this is just another example of why we need to get rid of these fossils in Congress.
Right.
We're going to be in the same boat in Iowa eventually.
I'm honestly surprised.
Because Chuck Grassley is going to die in office.
Yeah, he is. No, he really is. He's going to. He's going to keep getting reelected until he dies.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I don't know if he'll be able to run again. I think he might die before then.
Didn't we had that episode a few months ago where we went through the list of things that were older, or that Chuck Grassley was older than?
Okay, hold on. Just speaking of old, that was well more than a few months ago.
Was it?
That was almost
last year.
I think it might have been 2 years ago, dude. It's been a while.
No, it was definitely in this building.
Yeah, we've been in this building since 2024.
As a podcast.
I think it was probably around the election.
Oh, you're right, because we did the Joe Biden stuff upstairs.
Yeah, right in that same time frame. Yeah, I think I think it might have been 2 years ago.
Okay, a couple of years ago. Search back through your history.
By the way, he is up again, and some guy
Grassley?
No, Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell. Yeah, who's the challenger?
Booker, different Booker.
Not.
I sent you a link in Slack. You can
check it out.
Some guy won and is going to face the Democratic candidate.
Well, we'll talk about that race next week on Three Rural White Guys. But a couple months ago, a couple of years ago, we had an episode where we went through all the different things that are younger than Chuck Grassley, and one of them is the Empire State Building.
Well, I just loved. I'm looking at our comment section. Robin King Kirby just says he is so old. Just simple, just straightforward. So old. Just
so old.
So old. He's just so old. And like
Yeah. Yep.
So old.
So well, do we want to go down? I mean, we've been on air for an hour and 10 minutes.
Have we really already?
We could save DSA freak out across the political spectrum for next week.
Yeah,
and
probably.
Dive into that let's
do it. Let's do a really quick
drive by.
It's a thing that Republicans are doing right now. It's like it's this week's topic,
Trump
right?
is saying communism is the biggest threat to America. By communism, he means the Democratic Socialists of America. So
the who
DSA
are Democratic Socialists of America
and not communists.
Right.
Because there is a Communist Party of America.
Right. So let's just touch base real quick. I mean, we have some perspectives. I think each of us differ on it a little bit, which is all good. We tend to be more centrist in this topic, but New York and Colorado have both elected in their primaries. One primaries, Democrat candidates, one primaries from the DSA party, knocking off incumbents that have been there for years in some cases.
I just because this is like the 474th time you've used the term incumbent.
Incumbents.
You add an N.
There's no. It's not incumbents.
No. Incumbent.
Incumbent?
Yes.
Incumbent?
You add an N.
It's like out of bound.
You like put an N after the
S out of bounds. Yeah.
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 Knock it off.
Incumbent.
Incumbent.
It's not incumbent?
No.
Shit.
Nailed it.
Gubernatorial.
That's right.
That took me a long time to learn that one.
Gubernatorial.
Gubernatorial. So anyway, there's incumbents.
Incumbents.
Is that better?
There you go.
So there's all these incumbents being knocked off by DSA candidates in really, really, really blue districts.
Yes.
As happens every 4 to 8 years. You know, you had AOC and what was their crew called? They called them the gal from I'm blanking on the gal from Minnesota.
The squad,
right? Yeah. And the GOP freaked out about them because they were so far left. Like, welcome to the Democratic Party, people. At least that's my take. We are a big fucking tent, and you know what we do? We're like, welcome. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
And I think that's the take most people are taking in Democratic parties. Like, yeah, they're in here.
Yeah.
We don't really talk a whole lot because we think some of their shit's batshit crazy, and they think some of our shit's batshit crazy.
I would just like to toss out there, too, that communism famously is associated with things like hardcore prisons.
With a dictator?
With dictators and, like, lock everybody up and throw them into gulags. And there's one very, very vocal and very far fringe left candidate I don't think any of us would vote for in New York, who won, one of those DSA candidates who doesn't believe in prisons. So like we're
that's not even like prisons.
Right. We're not talking communism here. We really are talking a whole different brand.
Are any of them talking about the government taking over the means of production?
Well, the GOP is. Trump is doing that.
Trump is is using the federal government to take government ownership in private U.S. companies.
Right.
Which is the definition of communism.
I was going to say, that sounds a lot more like communism.
I'm pretty sure that's happening with a dictator.
Than spreading the wealth around and improving things for everybody.
Yeah, aside from this one gal.
You know what socialism is?
Go ahead.
The fire department is socialism.
Right.
Your free publicly provided ambulance service. I put a lot of asterisks on
the roads that you drive on.
It is not free.
Right.
No, that's true.
Well, neither is the fire department. But
the roads that you drive on, with the exception of Pennsylvania Turnpike and everywhere in fucking Texas, but in general, the roads that you drive on.
Public schools is socialism.
Yeah.
The post office.
The VA healthcare system.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Public libraries.
Public schools for now, Kellen, for now.
Yeah. But this country has thrived and succeeded because it has a mixed economic system. And we have elements of our society that are taxpayer funded and provided at no charge if you need them.
It's almost something in the Bill of Rights about providing for the common welfare of the citizens.
Yeah, that's something.
It's almost like socialism is
Bill
written,
of Rights, isn't it?
Yes, it's almost like socialism is written into our founding document.
Yeah, who would ever have guessed? You pay taxes for a reason.
And it's almost like the colony states still refer to themselves as commonwealths.
So we could.
Oh wow, that's a good point.
So we've been on the air for
Canadian.
10 minutes. We could talk about the social contract
before we leave, though. Don't leave me yet. Don't leave me yet. I just got to point one more thing out.
Yeah,
one more thing out. I think is really important because we talked about one Roosevelt today. Let's talk about the other one real quick.
FDR
implemented some of
Roosevelt,
the better. Yeah, it depends if you're talking about national parks or not. If you're talking about national parks,
Japanese internment.
Shut up.
You mean the guy we hated so much we elected 3 times?
Yes, exactly.
And almost elected 4th time.
Yes, that guy.
Yeah.
Who had a disability? Go figure, right?
Right.
So this guy implemented taxes on the uber wealthy. We're talking like 70% and above on a certain percentage of their income. Right. Like we're talking like massive taxation on the rich. And we saw the boomers get born during that time. We saw one of the greatest generations. They call themselves the fucking greatest generation because there's so fucking many of you, because everyone was having babies, because everyone could afford a house. Everyone had a job. Everyone had all the shit that happened post World War II because we finally fucking taxed the rich. And you know what happened right after that? Eisenhower, a fucking Republican, comes along and he supports it.
Yeah.
Because he understands, as a general in the army, what the military-industrial complex did to our country. And he understands that when you let these corporations take over and you don't tax them, you don't tax these ultra-wealthy people, it fucks you up as a country.
One of Eisenhower's most famous speeches was warning about the military-industrial complex.
Yes. A Republican.
You know what Eisenhower did with the military-industrial complex?
What did he do?
He built a fucking interstate all the way across the country.
With their tax dollars.
Army Corps of Engineers.
We can't build a goddamn bridge.
Yeah.
In 6 months.
No.
But we can build.
I know exactly the bridge you're talking about, too.
We can build a UFC arena on the South Lawn.
That's where we end it right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, actually,
and Great American Fair made out of cardboard.
I got one last thing to end it, and then we'll,
we'll
come out of here.
Oh God, you found a clip of it?
Acknowledgement, except for Arthur and Douglas MacArthur. Arthur was his son, Douglas MacArthur, great general. They're the only father and son pair to receive our nation's highest military award for courage above and beyond the call of duty. Now, as I see my two beautiful sons sitting there, I think I'm going to give one to myself, one to them, and we'll have a threesome, okay?
There it is.
I'll pick out one of the two.
Oh, we're going to pick out one of them.
I'll give them the Congressional Medal of Honor for something.
Something. No, what?
For their genius at hunting.
Oh, my God.
And I'll get one for...
Even the guys behind him are like, what the fuck?
Russia or something.
What?
And we'll have a third pair. No, I'm only kidding. But I have seriously thought about... Now, this is dangerous to say because the fake news is up there all over the place.
No, it's dangerous to say because you shouldn't say it.
Yeah.
Mike was talking about incumbents earlier, and he's over there talking about coming in men enough for all of us here.
Jesus Christ. And
are we all the way back to Uncle Sam in front of the acrobats?
All the way back to Yankee Doodle.
Feeding the geese. Blasting rope.
It was on this day. Some great ideas were conceived, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching Through White Guys. We'll see you next week. Fuck it, we'll do it live.